This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. Well, welcome to episode number 26 of a Mountaineer Moment, a podcast covering West Virginia football and basketball. And we're right in the thick of things in the middle of football season. Mountaineers have finished non-conference play and are about to open up conference play when they do battle with the Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence for the Big 12 conference opener. It's going to be a good one, all right? So this is Mountaineer Moment. My name's Troy, and this podcast, relatively new, started at the beginning of this football season. Again, I feel like I say it every episode, but I mean it. Blown away by the support and views and listens and everything that we're getting already quick out the gate. So keep it up, keep supporting, and keep subscribing because that helps us, and that's going to help you be in the know when we have new episodes dropping. And we're dropping several a week as far as previews and talking about the game and then post-game coverage as well. We've got you covered here on Mountaineer Moment. So Kansas and West Virginia, both of these teams enter play with a 2-1 record in the non-conference. West Virginia, again, with a lone loss to the MAC champions of 2024, the Ohio Bobcats on the road. And Kansas is coming off a road loss to their rivals, Missouri, 42-31. That was way back on September 6th. So Kansas did get a week off between matchups with Missouri and now the Mountaineers. So we'll see if that plays a factor. The line for this one has moved from anywhere between 11.5 point favorite for the Kansas Jayhawks to 13.5. So double-digit, 2-touchdown favorite for Kansas. And so the question that we're going to analyze on this episode number 26 of Mountaineer Moment, is how can West Virginia pull off the upset and start conference play with a road win and feel really good coming back to Morgantown, 3-1 overall and 1-0 in the conference. And we're going to do that by running through 5 keys to victory for the Mountaineers. And this is our 4th episode dedicated specifically to this matchup with the Kansas Jayhawks. If you want to go back and watch them, we've done a scouting report on Kansas, really a pretty deep dive on who they are, what they bring to the table schematically, what they bring to the table roster-wise, roster turnover, who their quarterback is, Jalen Daniels, who's been there forever, and that. So if you haven't checked that one out, go check that out. We did some fun over and unders, discussing, throwing out a yardage or a stat out there and saying, all right, will this player be over or under that yardage mark? So go check that one out. Kind of a short episode, but a fun one indeed. And then most previous to this one is just a game preview episode that we've done every week throughout the season. So previewing the action and giving you all that you need to know on both sides of the football as the countdown to kickoff is on. So this is episode number 4 as part of that preview. This will be the last one before the ball kicks off, and we'll get post-game coverage coming your way on the back end. But keys to victory for the Mountaineers, how can they pull off the upset on the road as a double-digit underdog? And the first key to victory, and I think it's been a key several times this year, it's you got to establish the run. You have to establish the running game. This is Rich Rodriguez. This is hard edge. This is spot the ball. And this is Ty Edwards, everybody's favorite Mountaineer, who burst onto the scene with a 141-yard, 3-touchdown performance in the backyard brawl against Pitt, leading the Mountaineers to victory, getting that game-winning touchdown in overtime. That was so, so sweet. And West Virginia, if we're being honest, right, we needed every bit of that performance from Ty Edwards if we were going to win that ball game, because you started well, you got down double digits, fourth quarter, you're still down, and Ty Edwards and company, Nicco, shout out to him, obviously, made it happen. Now, West Virginia hasn't had a ton of success through the air on this young season. I mean, again, Ohio game there wasn't success anywhere to be found on the field. And against Pitt, West Virginia got it done a little bit more through the air. Like, there was confidence there. Nicco had a good game and ended up 19 for 25 for almost 200 yards and a touchdown. But the story in this one was the rushing attack. I mean, 58 total carries for the Mountaineers, 25 of those belonging to Ty Edwards. And so I think it's all the more important to say, okay, now against Pitt, we've seen what we're capable of in the running game especially. Kansas now knows. They know what Ty Edwards did. If they didn't know his name before this matchup, they know his name now. Physical back with some speed. He's hard to bring down. He got a ton of those 141 yards came, after contact. I don't know how many, but it was a lot, after first hit. So Ty Edwards, you know the name now. So how is Kansas going to look to defend him? How many guys are they going to put in the box? All of that fun stuff. But I think early and often, it's a key to victory for me is you got to establish that run again. Because if you come out and Ty Edwards is finding success yet again, that proves that what we just watched against Pitt in the backyard brawl was no fluke. From the offensive line standpoint, from a schematic standpoint, from Ty Edwards himself, that's no fluke if you come out and are able to find success running the football. And so I think you got to try. I just think you absolutely positively have to try and run the football yet again. And I think if Mountaineers want any shot, if you want any shot to knock off Kansas, I'm not saying you need 140 yards from Ty Edwards, but you need a good game. You need a good game, right? You can't come out here and have 21 carries for 50 yards from Ty Edwards and he be your leading rusher. You need some yards. You need some yards. You need to take pressure off of Nicco, and then that should open up, if you're having success, open up the ability to find some passes. And that's exactly what it did against Pitt. So we're hoping for more of the same from this West Virginia offense. Number two, which relates closely to this rushing attack and what you need to do as far as establishing the run. But Rich Rod was on the Pat McAfee show, and he made a comment just kind of jokingly about just trying to get a first down. We're just trying to get a first down against Kansas, and that speaks to his just desire to one, obviously establish the run, but also to just move the ball down the field at a good pace. And they're going to run. They're going to be quick to the line, and one foot in front of the other, one first down after another, and you're going to find yourself in field goal position and a chance to punch it in the end zone. So this was a key to victory that we had against Pitt, and it stays the same because, most importantly, because it proved to be true against Pitt. Mountaineers picked up 28 first downs against Pitt. They moved the chains. They kept moving the ball down the field. There were some big plays. There were some, again, short plays that were converted for first downs, but they moved the ball down the field. They outgained Pitt significantly in the yards department, picked up 28 first downs. Pitt just had 15. And again, heading into the brawl, that was a key to victory. And lo and behold, that was a key. That was a key. Mountaineers don't win that game if they don't move the ball down the field like they did, obviously. And so on the road, I think this is another important thing. The Mountaineers' only road game this season was abysmal offensively. Couldn't do a thing. So the question is, was this game against Pitt a fluke, or was the Ohio game a fluke? Right? What kind of Mountaineers are we going to get on the road in Lawrence? And I think if West Virginia can get close, I'm not saying 28 first downs, that's a good bit. But if they can get close to that number, you can expect for them to be in it in the fourth quarter late against the Jayhawks and have themselves a chance to win. Number three, key to victory, something we've talked about, especially in that preview episode, the one before this one, is Nicco Markiel, and Nicco being Nicco, we're calling this one. Nicco being Nicco. Again, he had obviously quite the experience, quite the roller coaster of emotions, as all of Mountaineer Nation did as they were watching that game unfold. But Nicco had the Mountaineers up at half. The score was just 7-3, right? And then he checks out. Scotty Fox comes in. Scotty Fox leads the Mountaineers on a touchdown drive. And we're like, oh boy, might not see Nicco. Scotty Fox then throws 2 interceptions. You're like, all right, Nicco will come back. Nope, Jalen Henderson checks in. I think for just a series. And while that's happening, Pitt's scoring the ball. So Nicco comes back in the fourth quarter, and he's trailing. And what does he do? He leads the Mountaineers to 3 straight scoring drives in fourth quarter and overtime to get the Mountaineers the victory. Down by 10, late in the fourth, stayed composed, delivered some really nice passes, led the offense well, and delivered. And that's the kind of Nicco that we've come to know and love, right? Like, that's the kind of Nicco performance that we need from him if we're going to get another upset here. Right? You're a 12.5, 13.5 point underdog. You need Nicco to be a dog, right? Like, you need him to play well, like we know he's capable of. He looked very poised and under control and in the know of the offense when he checked back into that game, because that could have been disaster, right? You check in, you have a quarterback subbed out, not because of an injury. You have a quarterback subbed out because he got benched, and benched might be a strong word considering, like, and even Nicco acknowledged post-game that was kind of part of the game plan, was for the Mountaineers to get multiple quarterbacks involved in this game and what Rich Rod desired to do. And but if this game proved anything, I mean, Nicco's the guy. Nicco's the guy. I mean, he got the Mountaineers off to a lead. Again, it was just 7-3. The offense had some struggles, but the comeback to do what he did, to get benched, to come back in and perform that well, we need that kind of Nicco, that kind of attitude, that kind of winner's mentality to come out and showcase itself against Kansas on the road this weekend. Now, again, a lot of Nicco's play depends on the offensive line and what they're capable of doing, but we'll see what kind of performance we get from them in the rush, run blocking and pass blocking. But Nicco's got to be Nicco. Got to be Nicco in order for the Mountaineers to win. Fourthly, this Zach Alley Mountaineer-led defense has turned some heads with their solid play through 3 games so far. Mountaineers are tied for second in the country with 12 sacks, leads the Big 12. Kansas is not far behind with 10 sacks, so they like to get after the quarterback as well. Their run defense has been extremely impressive, ranking 12th in the country in opponent yards per carry given up, with just 2.36 yards allowed per rush attempt. This defense is a team that's a unit that's forced 6 turnovers so far in the young season for the Mountaineers. Picked off Parker Navarro of Ohio 3 times in one half. Picked off Eli Holstein in the end zone. Last week in the backyard brawl, did Darian Lewis in the first half. Turned out to be an impactful play as you prevent Pitt from getting points there. They've shown obviously an ability to get in the backfield. Lots of TFLs, lots of sacks, getting active and just wreaking havoc. So that's point number 4. This West Virginia defense has to just continue to wreak havoc on opposing offenses. This is a unit that's been very good, and now you get Jalen Daniels and company. Jalen's very, very veteran guy, very talented quarterback, capable of doing a lot, and we'll see how this thing shakes out. But you have to continue to disrupt things. Keep an eye on Fred Perry. Solid player, man, coming over from Jack State. He is really, really good. And then, talked about it on the last episode, keep an eye on Jamori Robinson, who's apparently able to play. And he was your big acquisition in the transfer portal. Eligibility back and forth, NCAA lawsuit, all of these things. And now he's apparently going to be suiting up to play. How much time will he get? We shall see. But when he's out there, he's a guy that can have an impact. The AAC Defensive Player of the Year in 2024 is only going to add things to what the Mountaineers have already done, right? You've done all of that, all those numbers I just uttered out, especially getting after the quarterback and sacks and TFLs and all of that. You've done all that without who is your best pass rusher in Jamori Robinson. And now he's here? Whew. I'd like to see him make a couple plays, man. I would like to see him make a couple plays. Overall, key to victory, defense, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Get in the backfield, make it hard for opposing offenses. And fifth and finally, a point we discussed a little bit on the previous episode, and we're calling this one Something's Gotta Give. And that might be at play at the first quarter in this Saturday matchup the Mountaineers have with Kansas, because Kansas has been scoring the football in the first quarter. They got 49 total points through 3 games in the first quarter. They had 21 points. They were out to a 21-6 lead against Missouri, their rival, just a couple weeks ago, before losing that one 42-31. So 49 first quarter points through 3 games. That's pretty good. Hot start. But then you think about the West Virginia defense, and it's like, West Virginia's pitched 2 shutouts in the first quarter, including Pitt last week, and they've only given up 3 points all season long in the first quarter, 3 points to Ohio, a team who they shut out in the second half. So, something's got to give. something's got to give. Is West Virginia's defense going to continue to make a stand and shut teams down in the first quarter, or is Kansas going to keep doing what they're doing? And for West Virginia's sake, you got to get off to a good start. On the road, I mean, that's a cliche thing, but like on the road in this environment, renovated stadium, kids rocking their black uniforms, right? They're all pumped, they're all hyped up. You got to get off to a good start. And what might be a good start for West Virginia might be a 7-0 lead after one quarter. A, because you scored a touchdown, but B, because you held Kansas without. And they've scored a lot of touchdowns through 3 games, 7 to be exact, in just the first quarter alone. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that, right? We can ill afford to have Kansas get off to a fast start and take a 14-0 lead real quick in this one. I know Missouri came back, but man, we don't want to have to come from behind twice, especially now on the road in the conference opener. So there you go, 5 keys to victory for the Mountaineers. If we see the Mountaineers do all 5 of those things, they might just be coming back to Morgantown victorious in the conference opener on the road on FS1, 6 o'clock Eastern time, set for kickoff. Let's go Mountaineers, and we'll be sure to have you covered with post-game coverage Saturday night and Sunday talking about this one. We'll see you next time.